Did DeepSeek's groundbreaking AI model really cost only $5-ish million to train? A new analysis says it costs way more. A new copyright ruling on AI dropped, but hardly no one noticed or paid attention. And OpenAI not only dropped an impressive new reasoning model in O3 Mini, but they're eyeing a $40 billion capital infusion just a week after announcing the $500 billion AI infrastructure plan in Stargate. Yeah, if you thought AI news was going to slow down, it's the end of December was ramping up, so we're going to have a slow fourth quarter. Absolutely not. There is so much to cover, and we're going to be talking about those three stories and a whole lot more today on Everyday AI. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson, and I'm the host of Everyday AI, and this thing's for you. It is your daily live stream, podcast, and free daily newsletter, helping us all not just learn AI, but how we can keep up with all this stuff that's happening, because it's AI is literally happening around the clock on the weekends when you sleep. Guess what's also happening? Me. Our team, we are keeping you up to date, because it doesn't just help you to know what's going on. You have to know what actually matters and how it's going to impact your company or your career. So that's what we do most Mondays. We're back after a week or two off with our AI news that matters. So we are back for the week of February 3rd. And if you're new here, yeah, like I said, we do this almost every single Monday, going over the top news. One other thing, if you are brand new here, maybe checking us out on the podcast, thank you. Check your show notes for the link to our website. That's your new best friend in AI. It's youreverydayai.com. Go sign up for our free daily newsletter there. In our daily newsletter, we recap each show every single Monday through Friday, as well as there's like now 400 plus back episodes you can go listen to, learn from the world's leading experts, all sorted by category. All right. Also, got to give one more shout out. Live stream audience, did y'all stick with our 2025 AI predictions and roadmap series? It is still highly relevant. A lot of things that we're going to be talking about today predicted this 2 weeks ago when we released it. So make sure you go listen to those on our website. All right. Without further ado, let's get into the AI news that matters for the week of February 3rd, 2025. So let's talk about the hot topic. All right. And FYI, y'all, I'm going to have a dedicated show on DeepSeek later this week. I intentionally took a lot of time on this. People were reaching out, Jordan, give us your take on DeepSeek. I said, nope. It's too soon. All right. But here's one of the reasons why. Apparently, according to a new report, DeepSeek spent maybe a little bit more than it was initially believed training their new models. So according to a new report, DeepSeek's hardware expenditure is estimated to be significantly higher than $500 million. And that's according to a new report by SemiAnalysis. So despite these reported high hardware costs, DeepSeek AI reported that its model training costs were only about $5.5 million. Yeah, pretty stark contrast between $5.5 million and every single other state-of-the-art large language model that's ever been trained, usually for about 10 to 20 times that cost. And obviously, when DeepSeek, with their both their V3 and their R1 reasoning model, when they said, hey, we only spent $5.5 million to train this model, the entire U.S. stock market went up in arms, lost more than $2 trillion in market cap in reaction to this news. Y'all, speaking of that 2025 AI roadmap, I warned you of this. I said this is going to happen, right? Before it happened. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to it, although I think Wall Street got tricked. I think journalists got tricked. I think your favorite social media AI person got tricked. Guess who didn't? Me. Yeah. Go back. You know what? I'm already starting on a hot take Tuesday, even though it's the news that matters Monday. Go see who you follow in AI and go see what they said 2 weeks ago about DeepSeek, and then check back in with me in 2 weeks. I'm a former journalist, so I was not surprised that a lot of large news organizations essentially just copy and pasted what DeepSeek said and did not look into it, which is one of the reasons, among many others, that the U.S. stock market saw a huge swing. But the new report from Semi-Analysis highlights the substantial compute power needed for generating synthetic data, a key factor in DeepSeek's reported hardware spending. So DeepSeek's R1 model has been praised for its capabilities, with experts noting its rapid advancements despite U.S. restrictions on chip exports to China. Yeah, that's one of the biggest things. It's like there's only like one chip from NVIDIA that can make a state-of-the-art model like this. And reportedly DeepSeek in their last training run, this one that cost $5.6 million, wasn't using them. Again, these are all according to reports in what DeepSeek AI itself said. So obviously at the center of all this was number one, NVIDIA, saw their stock price go down. I believe it was by 17% over the course of like 2 days, because now everyone said, oh, it's so cheap and you don't need NVIDIA's, highest powered AI or their highest powered GPUs to train a state-of-the-art model. More on that later this week when we go in depth into the whole DeepSeek saga on our show. But it was probably two of the companies in the spotlight, aside from DeepSeek, were NVIDIA and OpenAI, right? OpenAI, by far the leader in the large language model game, reportedly spent about $100 million training their old GPT-4 model. So they were kind of thrust in the spotlight. So OpenAI CEO Sam Altman acknowledged the quality of the DeepSeek model and emphasized the competitive nature of the AI industry. And also concerns obviously have been raised about the U.S. potentially lagging behind China in AI development. Another thing I told you was going to happen in 2025, we were going to see China leapfrog the U.S. And I called a lot of these quote unquote open source AI models Trojan horses. All right. So we'll see how that actually plays out. All right. Our next piece of AI news, obviously related, because this really shook up the entire U.S. economy, not just the AI, the generative AI space, the large language model players, big tech. No, the U.S. economy. But OpenAI, at first they were like, okay, good job, DeepSeek. And then we saw the reporting where OpenAI is scrutinizing DeepSeek for allegedly using OpenAI's own models to distill or to help make their own model. So according to reports, OpenAI is investigating allegations that DeepSeek used OpenAI's AI models to create its competing chatbot. So that was first reported by Bloomberg. So like we talked about, DeepSeek's chatbot caused a significant market disruption, causing AI-linked U.S. tech stocks to lose about $2 trillion in market cap. A lot of that has since been recovered, but pretty significant. Anytime you see $2 trillion in market cap erased from the U.S. economy, pretty big deal. So DeepSeek claimed that its AI model was developed at a fraction of the cost and hardware needed compared to rivals like OpenAI, Claude, Google, etc. So OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, initially expressed admiration for DeepSeek, but did later acknowledge evidence of distillation, or a technique where smaller models replicate larger models, right? So you have this whole kind of like teacher-student paradigm between the models where, quote unquote, smaller companies are just using outputs from larger models to distill information or to take or borrow outputs from a larger model to train theirs, which is against almost every single proprietary large language model's terms of service, such as OpenAI. So this is happening quickly, y'all. And in our daily newsletter, we'll continue to keep you up to date as we have this week. But the U.S. Navy, interestingly enough, has banned DeepSeek's apps due to potential security and ethical concerns. And the U.S. National Security Council is evaluating the AI apps implications. So yes, DeepSeek's, you can download it, right? It's not a true open source model. All right, I'll get into that later in the week, but it is a fairly open source model in the same way that Meta's Llama, it's fairly open source, not 100%. But yes, so people are kind of missing the point. Everyone's like, oh, you can, download it. It's open source. Well, it's not really open source according to all of the rules for for something to be considered truly open source, but most people are still just using it via the app interface. So there's a lot of intricacies with the data sharing and really just privacy concerns, right? In the same way that, the whole TikTok ban was being talked about for 2+ years. It was banned for, I don't know, a day. All the teenagers went crazy. US President Trump reinstated TikTok, but they are on a shot clock now. So I think we're going to be seeing the same things. At least the app on the iPhone could be banned, right? So it topped the US charts for free iOS apps, right? So a lot of people, downloaded DeepSeek on their phone, on their iPhones. I wouldn't be surprised if it does get banned in the US eventually. It's already been banned in other countries, such as Italy. So the situation is presenting a significant challenge for Silicon Valley in the global AI competition. Also, David Sachs, Trump's AI advisor and czar, I think, suggested that intellectual property theft may have occurred by DeepSeek. So, it's not just OpenAI and, reporters hinting at this. This is from now someone in Donald Trump's official government in an official government role, accusing DeepSeek of distilling from OpenAI's model, which is not legal, at least according to OpenAI's terms of service. And you might be wondering, okay, well, what's the big deal? Well, I mean, number one, most people aren't downloading this thing and running it locally. Number one. Number two, data privacy and concerns. It's a lot different, if you are giving your data, especially as a business, to a Meta, to a Google, to a Microsoft, to a OpenAI, right? Because at least here in the US, and I know we have listeners from all over the world, but I am putting this, I live in the US. The majority of our listeners live in the US. So I am putting this through that point of view. There's a lot of huge concerns when you are essentially connecting all of your business data and uploading it and sending it to a company based in China. You really have to understand how China treats its data and its link to the government, which is not the same here in the US. So more on that later in the week. All right. More DeepSeek news, and this one gets a little weird because Microsoft has announced that it will host DeepSeek R1 on its Azure cloud service, despite those exact accusations that we just talked about. So yes, it now looks like OpenAI is rightfully so pointing the finger at DeepSeek, yet Microsoft, which is one of the biggest backers of OpenAI, did just announce that they will be making the R1, the reasoning model from DeepSeek, available on its Azure platform. So yeah, pretty noteworthy as it involves a major player in AI, Microsoft, which, like I said, is OpenAI's largest investor, now offering access to the model accused of violating OpenAI's terms of service. And not only that, but from the company that I think was maybe kind of tricking the US economy into going down. More on that later this week. All right. So Microsoft's decision to host R1 is seen as making it more legitimate in the business community, despite that ongoing dispute and the probe into data extraction practices by DeepSeek. Also, Microsoft announced OpenAI's O1 reasoning model would be made available to even free users in Microsoft Copilot, enhancing Copilot's ability to address complex questions with their Think Deeper feature, which was previously only available to Copilot Pro subscribers. So yes, now you do have the O1 reasoning available to even Copilot free subscribers. All right. Our next piece of AI news. Yeah, a lot with OpenAI this week, y'all. So OpenAI announced partnerships with the US government to enhance research across various fields using AI, marking a significant step in AI's role in advancing science and national security. So approximately 1,000 scientists across diverse disciplines within the US government will gain access to OpenAI's latest reasoning models, according to the announcement. So, researchers from Los Alamos, Lawrence Livermore, and Sandia National Labs, so those are all US government entities, will utilize O1 or another O series model. All right, so on Venado, which is an NVIDIA supercomputer at Los Alamos, with Microsoft's support in deployment. So OpenAI also announced ChatGPT Gov, a secure AI solution designed specifically for US government agencies to use ChatGPT. So agencies can self-host. That's an interesting one. Agencies can self-host ChatGPT to manage security and compliance, reducing risks tied to handling classified information with external AI models. All right, moving on from OpenAI, at least for a couple of stories here. Google has announced the rollout of Gemini 2.0 Flash, which promises faster responses and improved performance for users on desktop and mobile platforms. So the update is currently more widely available on the desktop, with mobile users on the Google Pixel smartphone still experiencing the previous versions. So Gemini 2.0 Flash enhances tasks such as writing, brainstorming, and learning by providing a smoother user experience. The model also offers improved response to image inputs, although free users can only upload images and not other file types. So previously only available to Gemini Advanced subscribers, the 2.0 Flash model is now accessible to all users, providing a significant update from the 1.0 Flash model. Yeah, this is pretty big because the front end of Google Gemini, up until December, they weren't really transparent in what version you were running, right? So I actually did a ton of digging, even reaching out to people at Google. And finally, I essentially got a hint that, up until December, for the most part, the model that you were using, if you go to gemini.google.com, right? So it's different than if you're, using Vertex or Google AI Studio on the back end. But if you were just logging in and using the Gemini chatbot, you were generally using a version of Gemini that was 6 to 9 months outdated, which is not good. So that changed in December. But now we have the official version of 2.0 Flash, where previously we had an experimental version of the Gemini 2.0 model, but now we have the official Gemini 2.0 Flash inside of Google Gemini and the Google Gemini app. All right. A big US copyright case that I didn't really see a lot of people talking about, so I think it's important to chat about it. So this is the second kind of quote unquote ruling or kind of paper to come out of the US Copyright Office, and there will be more. So the US Copyright Office has issued guidance stating that AI generated outputs based solely on text prompts are not protected by current copyright law. So this decision highlights the lack of human control in AI generated works, which affects their ability to be copyrighted. So this new report from the US Copyright Office emphasizes that AI systems cannot hold copyrights, and users of AI systems are not considered authors of the AI generated outputs. So the unpredictability of AI outputs, as demonstrated by a Gemini produced image in the paper, underscores the lack of user authorship. So the office contrasts AI generated works with traditional art forms like Jackson Pollock's paintings, where human control is evident. So using AI as a tool to assist human creativity does not necessarily jeopardize copyright protection for the final human produced work. So yeah, this one's a little tricky, right? So what this report essentially said, if you're using a text only prompt, probably like, let's say you're using, Midjourney or, DALL-E, although I don't think anyone would be using DALL-E, although reportedly, according to OpenAI's AMA on Reddit, they are closer to releasing the successor to DALL-E. But regardless, if you're just using a prompt, right, to inside Midjourney or inside any of the Stable Diffusion models or inside Runway, right, inside a video platform. If you're just using a text output, it's very unlikely that whatever you produce, you will be able to copyright. All right. And in instances where there's a lot of kind of human back and forth, and even human inputs, right? So let's say you create a piece of art by hand, and then you go in and enhance it with, an AI in painting from one of these programs, even from something like Adobe Photoshop, right? That's where it becomes extremely vague. I am not a huge fan of this ruling just because of the gray area. I would say this ruling, we'll link to it in the newsletter, and we did last week, but I'd say it's like 90% gray area, right? Because essentially they said in those instances where it's kind of almost like an equal input of human and AI, they're all going to be judged for their ability to be copyrighted on a case-by-case basis, which does not make sense. I'm not saying I have the answers, but I don't think this is the ruling really anyone was hoping for, because all it really said is, okay, well, if you use text only, you can't copyright that, which I think a lot of people already knew. And then conversely, the only other kind of new piece of information that I think that we really got is, hey, if it's kind of equal parts human and equal parts AI, it's being tackled on a case-by-case basis. But the office allows for copyright protection in works that incorporate AI-generated content with significant creative modification. So, let's say if it's mainly human work with a little bit of AI, you might still be able to get that copyrighted, right? Which is huge, because here's the thing. In most creative workflows in 2025, it is going to become very hard to create something without the use of AI, right? And now, we've seen all these stories now of, publications and writers guilds trying to create systems to prove that your work is not AI generated or AI augmented, which I don't think is going to accurately work, because that's not how generative AI and large language models work either, or diffusion models, right? It's very hard to prove or disprove, aside from if you are using a system that does have an invisible watermarking system, but those are also easy to get around. So it's a pretty interesting announcement here coming from the second report from the US Copyright Office. All right, moving on. $40 billion. That is billion with a B. So according to reports, SoftBank Group is in discussions to lead another significant funding round of up to $40 billion for OpenAI, potentially valuing the AI behemoth at $300 billion. This would set a record for a private company investment if this does come to fruition. So the move highlights the escalating competition in the AI sector, particularly with the Chinese players now, with DeepSeek and Quen really entering the fray in late 2024 and really putting their stamp on the race in early 2025. SoftBank has previously valued OpenAI at $260 billion, a substantial increase from $150 billion. That was the valuation just a few months ago. This new round of funding reportedly is expected to be facilitated through convertible notes, contingent upon OpenAI restructuring its business to limit the control of its nonprofit arm, which is originally how it was founded. SoftBank reportedly has about $30 billion available for investment, with a commitment of up to $25 billion potentially directed towards OpenAI and its joint venture, Stargate, which we talked about in the newsletter quite a bit over the past week or two. Stargate, if you didn't know, aims to bolster the U.S. position in the global AI race against China and others, complementing SoftBank's previous $15 billion investment into that venture. So yeah, now it looks like since SoftBank is one of the main financial supporters of the Stargate project, that kind of joint venture between SoftBank, Oracle, Microsoft's in there more on the data side. So now SoftBank reportedly going all in doubly on OpenAI by not just the Stargate financial support in leading kind of the financial push there, but also in this new round of funding for OpenAI. So yeah, if you didn't know, the Stargate initiative is a $500 billion joint venture led by OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle, and it aims to expand US's AI infrastructure with significant investment in data centers, job creation, and technological advancements. All right. Speaking of Oracle, one of the largest companies in the world, just announced, big surprise, advancements in their AI agents capabilities. So Oracle has introduced new AI agents aimed at enhancing supply chain management during its Cloud World event in Austin. So the AI agents are designed to automate and streamline tasks for supply chain workers, improving efficiency and decision-making. Oracle's new AI agentic tools are part of the Oracle Fusion Cloud Supply Chain and Manufacturing Platform. That is a mouthful and a half, targeting areas like product inspections and delivery instructions. So the move aligns with the broader tech industry's trends. Everyone's going, agentic in 2024 and 2025, joining the likes of companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, NVIDIA, Salesforce, OpenAI, everyone else investing heavily in AI agents. So Oracle's announcement, obviously, like we just talked about, follows the Stargate project collaboration with OpenAI and SoftBank. All right. And then last, but definitely not least, we got a new model that it looks like is going to, at least from a benchmarks perspective, be the highest or the best new model in the world. So we'll see how long that lasts until, Quen or DeepSeek or Google or Claude announces a new model. But OpenAI has launched the O3 Mini reasoning model. Not just that, but also for free. Yes. So a lot of people are saying this is in response to DeepSeek releasing their R1 for free. But OpenAI did just announce this for even free users, marking the first time a wide audience can access the most advanced models, which were previously reserved for the $20 a month ChatGPT Plus users or the $200 a month ChatGPT Pro users. So there is, gotta love these names here. But Sam Altman did say that they were trying to fix their naming problem. So we have two new models, actually, O3 Mini and O3 Mini High. I know. And this follows O1, which was before called O1 Preview. And then we had O1 Mini. Then we got rid of O1 Preview and just got O1. But then we also added O1 Pro. We skipped O2 because of some naming rights over there in the UK from, I believe, a telecom company. And then we skipped to O3. But we don't have O3 Preview. We don't have O3 Pro, obviously, not yet. Instead, we have O3 Mini and O3 Mini High. Oh, gosh. Head scratcher. All right. Anyways, these models use the chain of thought reasoning technique. And Sam Altman did say that they are going to have a little bit more transparency in what is actually happening in that chain of thought or those reasoning steps. Like other models have a little bit more transparency. OpenAI has been a little bit more closed off in showing everyone kind of exactly what happens underneath the hood, aside from a summary. According to OpenAI, the O3 Mini responds 24% faster than its predecessor, O1 Mini. Okay, so comparing O1 Mini to O3 Mini. So O3 Mini responds 64% faster and costs 63% less per input token, though it does remain about 7 times more expensive than non-reasoning models like GPT-4o Mini. But to me, that makes sense, right? You're not going to use an O series model for everything. If you're a company, right, you're only using it for more complex tasks, right? The reasoning models, I think they are much better for anything in coding, software development, STEM, anything in advanced mathematics, business intelligence, right? I think it's great for reasoners. But one thing that I love, and we did a big O1 Pro episode here on the show. So if you want, you can scroll back and listen to that. It was about 10 to 15 episodes ago. But I think it's also great. These O1, O3 models are just great for dumping a lot of data and saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm trying to do. This is, it requires some business logic. So I think a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm not in software development. I'm not in business intelligence. Well, do you have a pile of data? Do you have a job that requires you to think in a multi-step way and make a business decision based on that data, right? I think it's the O1 model. Completely love it. I'm using it all the time, even though I thought I would still be using the 4.0 model much more. I'm using the O1 and now the O3 Mini High. What a name there. Much more than I thought. But the launch signals OpenAI's strategy to maintain its edge in AI innovation, despite increasing competition, like we said, from more quote unquote open source models like DeepSeek's V3 and R1, its reasoning model. But the biggest feature no one's talking about, saving what I think is one of the biggest things for last. It connects to the internet. All right. O3 Mini and O3 Mini High connect to the internet, where the previous O1 Preview, O1, O1 Mini, and O1 Pro did not connect to the internet. And that is extremely important to be able to quickly query the internet, pull in information, because one of the biggest things about using a large language model, and why I still tell companies, do not use Claude on the front end, right? If you're using it on the back end, connecting it, with a RAG pipeline into your company's most up-to-date data, sure, right? But so many companies are using large language models on the front end, right? They're going to chatgpt.com, claude.ai, gemini.google.com, right? There's been a lot of problems. I think Gemini really improved in December, and we've seen these updates roll out, but Claude is still not connected to the internet, although we've seen some reports that saying they're getting closer to having that, and then maybe that might be suitable for enterprise companies to use on the front end, right, on a Teams or an enterprise plan. But I'm personally very excited that OpenAI has included the ability to connect to the web in the new O3 Mini and O3 Mini High model. So there we go, saving what I think is the best little nugget for last. All right, that is it. Let me do a very, very quick recap of the AI news that matters for February 3rd. So according to a report, DeepSeek's hardware cost more than $500 million, throwing a big corkscrew into that hole. We trained it for $5.5 million. OpenAI is scrutinizing DeepSeek for allegedly using its model for distillation purposes. Despite all that, our next AI news, Microsoft is hosting that somewhat controversial model, DeepSeek R1, on its Azure platform. More OpenAI news. They partnered with the U.S. government, both for those 15,000 scientists and with ChatGPT Gov. Google has rolled out Gemini 2.0 Flash for free users and in the front end of Gemini as well. The U.S. Copyright Office kind of clarified AI-generated content's copyright status. SoftBank is reportedly eyeing a $40 billion investment in OpenAI, even on top of everything Stargate. Speaking of Stargate partners, our next piece of AI news, Oracle unveiled some AI agents for supply chain management at its Cloud World event. And last but not least, OpenAI did release its new reasoning model, O3 Mini and O3 Mini High, to even free users. All right. Was this helpful? I hope it was. All right. Live stream audience, thank you for tuning in. If this is helpful, go click that repost button. If you're listening on the podcast, I super appreciate it. You make sure to check out our show notes, and more than anything, please check out our website at youreverydayai.com. Sign up because, like I said, so much happens in the world of AI, and it's hard to know, hey, should my company be using this model? How does this new news impact our department and what we're doing? Well, don't spend hours every single day trying to keep up. That's what we do. You can keep up in our free daily newsletter, youreverydayai.com. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, We have a big DeepSeek show coming at you this week. We're going to be covering the O3 model in more depth, and we're going to be tackling Operator as well, OpenAI's agentic AI system. So huge lineup of shows this week. I can't wait. Thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you back tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI.